thing. Our first thing is gonna be some more. My mind is going blank. American Fork.
American Fork. Sweet.
Yes.
Ready for this?
Right.
And we have our host back. So
Yeah, that's right.
she has returned.
Returned.
She does a much better job at being her than I do.
Yeah,
Just
that's true. That's
my
one thing I'm
opinion.
really good at being. Is me. So. Okay. I'm gonna go now. I'm going now. I'm about to go. I'm gonna go.
All right, no,
Okay.
not that much breathing.
It's a lot of breathing.
Once again, I'd like to say hello to all of our Radio for All listeners. I'm your host, Bethany Lake, joined in studio by my fantastic co-host, Amanda Waverly, and we're still here in American Fork, Utah, working to uncover the next big clue, or any sized clue, really, in the disappearance of Big Arza. That's right. This is American Fork.
Usually a theme song goes here.
God, even the
Do we have to
themes-
sing it today?
I think we should just go on. I don't know, Amanda. I don't know.
We'll play
I
it
would like to
later.
start
Maybe at
off.
the end.
Yeah, maybe at the end. I would like to start off by thanking our listeners for loyally tuning in each week to this, the preeminent Big Arza podcast. Unlike our new competitors over at King of the Fork, this show will continue to be rooted in facts and reality, not musings about high school sports lore interspersed with two lonely men stroking each other's egos.
B, that burn is sending me. Sup, fam? It's Amanda again. And let me just add that starting a rival podcast was a really shady move on Jeff's part. Jeff, I know you're listening, and you're obviously too petty not to. So I just want you to know that we are not worried. Okay? There's no way you or your new ride or die knows anything about social engagement. I mean, you're not even on TikTok. How do you expect people to learn about your show? What, word of mouth? Spoiler alert, people don't talk to each other verbally anymore. Okay?
And that's why RFA is so happy to have a shooting social media star like you, Amanda. Over at Sid's, they're probably going to try to sell their podcasts on records. They're not collecting leads. They're collecting dust.
They do not want this smoke.
Yeah, that's right. This smoke turns into fire.
Yes, not a phrase, but I really love your vibe.
Thanks. I'm really trying.
Of course you are. Ah, upper millennials. Plus, King of the Fork, it's 2021, babe. We are all queens, yes.
Exactly. And do you know what true queens do? They keep hunting down leads to solve the mystery of Big Arza, while the competition tries to sell a few more spots to their creepy divorce lawyer sponsor.
Facts. And our stack of leads this week is thick. This week, the absolute OG Detective Scoop, there it is, went on location to visit some of the past interviewees and see if he could suss out any new tea.
And since Amanda's impromptu interview with an employee of Tony's Pizzeria was our first big break in the case, we figured that's where we should start. Roll the clip, Evan.
Confounded. This confounded machine. Am I on? Am I on? Yeah, the light appears to be green. I've solved it. Greetings, listeners of American Fork. It is I, Detective Scoop, here at Tony's Pizzeria. When you've been solving culinary capers as long as I have, you learn that sometimes the most important revelations are found in the most nondescript locales. A gas station, a grocery store, even a small town pizza joint. These seemingly ordinary places often serve as local watering holes, gossip grapevines, and where people talk, detectives listen. In American Fork, everyone talks at Tony's, including my guest, Mitt Pingle. Good afternoon, young man.
Well, cut a 2x4.5 and call me a stud. This is exciting. It is just the highest honor to be talking to you today, American Fork's favorite son. Say, could I get you a slice while we're talking? I just pulled a pie of the daily special out of the oven.
What is today's special?
2 cheese.
So you're telling me the special is a simple slice of cheese pizza?
No. Cheese pizza just has 1 cheese on it. The special has 2.
Interesting. Enlighten me on the cheeses, if you please.
Oh, well, there's the first cheese. And then there's the second cheese.
Oh, well, I suppose I'll take a slice. When one is hot on the heels of justice, I suppose one occasionally deserves a hot treat.
Too true, Detective Scoop. Why, a lot of the folks around here are always going on about how everybody and their mother is starting a, pardon my language, gosh darned podcast, but I could not disagree with them more. Sir, I believe you are doing the Lord's work.
Why, thank you, son. That is very kind of you.
And sir, if I could level with you for a minute, I've been following your career for years. You are my hero. In fact, I got a job in the culinary arts because I figured it would be a good step towards becoming a culinary detective, just like you.
You are too kind, my boy. You know, from the moment I walked in here, I could tell you were a special lad. Attentive, focused, the observant stare of one starving to detect more. Why, you remind me of a young me.
Gee, thank you, sir. I promise I will make you proud. I've got your book on my nightstand, you know. It's the last thing I read before I fall asleep and the first thing I look at every morning.
You bought my book? 2 scoops of justice a la mode?
Of course I did. It's one of the finest pieces of detective nonfiction in the world.
Yes, of course. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. But now we must move on to the questions of the hour.
Well, gosh, Detective Scoop, if it's going to take a whole hour, I'd better see if someone can come in and cover the counter.
It's an expression, my boy. I need but a few minutes of your time.
Whoo! Well, all right. Ask away, then.
I'm going to start by asking just a few basic biographical questions. How long have you been working here at Tony's?
Well, I worked here all through high school to save up for my mission, and then I picked up right where I left off when I got back last year.
And to what distant land did you travel for your mission?
I went all the way to the faraway city of Trenton, New Jersey. And may I say that I have never seen anywhere like Trenton. It was the perfect place to spread the good word. A lot of people think you have to go to Haiti or somewhere like that, but it turns out you can paint a dilapidated old schoolhouse right here in the good old US of A. And did you know that of all the state capitals, Trenton is ranked the worst one to live in?
I did not. Moving on. When you were last interviewed by this esteemed podcast, you disclosed that the Tony of Tony's Pizzeria is, in fact, a figment of marketing. Why do you think the owners of this establishment perpetrated such a lie?
Well, if I had to guess, I'd say it was because it sounds authentic, but I can't say for sure, seeing as how I don't know the owner and all.
That's right. That enigmatic tidbit. Now, why do you postulate this?
Well, Spencer, he was the manager back when I first started, said it's because they're one of the town's biggest benefactors, but they don't want anyone to know on account of they're so humble. Which makes sense to me because I have personally benefited from their generosity. Why, after my last shift before my mission, I found an unsigned Bon Voyage card with $5,000 in cash stuffed in it.
Generous indeed.
Uh-huh. And Brighton, she's the manager now, said that one time she was late because her bike got stolen. She told the owner about it, and then when she got home, there was a shiny new bike waiting for her. No card on it or anything. But when she asked them about it, supposedly they just winked and told her to enjoy it.
So both your old manager and your current manager have had direct contact with the owner?
Of course. How else is the owner going to communicate their vision for the menu and whatnot?
Well then, Mitch, I would like to speak to your manager.
Oh, I wish I could honor your request, sir, but she's at school right now.
I suppose I'll have to come back then. I can't imagine being subservient to a teenager is all that enjoyable. Say, have you ever considered applying for manager?
Oh, I don't mind it at all. Brighton's a great boss. As far as going out for the big job, I think it would just be a distraction from my dream of becoming a culinary detective like you. Besides, I think the owner likes being able to help high school students gain management experience. That sort of thing really stands out on a resume.
What about when you were in high school? Did you ever apply back then?
I can't say that I did. I was so focused on learning about food forensics and getting ready to be a missionary that I just didn't think much about it.
Yes. I suppose it's prudent for a young man like yourself to stay focused on his primary objectives. During your last interview, you also mentioned that the youths who call themselves Blaze and Kush dined here recently, and during their meal, you heard them discussing the appearance of Big Arza. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Seemed like they were glad the pride of our city had been stolen, which is downright blasphemous, I must say.
What did they say exactly?
Well, they were whispering, so I couldn't entirely make it out, but I definitely heard dumb friar. Never find it, and a lot of giggling. It isn't hard to connect those dots.
Indeed, it isn't. But you didn't hear them say anything that specifically confirms their culpability?
Oh, I guess not, but I just can't imagine being glad about a horrible thing like that. Unless you're that creepy guy from the record store.
Yes, he is a creep. I'm glad you think so, too. Though I don't think he could have pulled off a heist such as this one. Then again, I'm not so sure these youths everyone is so eager to point a finger at are capable of a crime of this magnitude either. Tell me, what else do you know of the children?
Oh, not a whole lot, I guess. They come in here every once in a while, but so does everybody. For the most part, I try to keep my head down and mind my own business. I can tell you their orders, though. She likes the veggie supreme, and he usually just gets a slice of whatever the daily special is.
I'm not sure that's germane, but I suppose any information is better than no information at all.
Well, that's all I got, except for what I've heard other people tell me about them, like how they're trouble, just like their mama, but that you already knew.
Indeed. But I'm not sure I believe all that. I know firsthand how they treat people who are a little different around here. But alas, do you suppose they're the ones who are behind all of this?
Oh, I try not to make a habit out of supposing things, but when so many folks are saying they're guilty, it's hard not to listen.
But what would their motivations be?
Who knows? Probably to tick off their father.
Their father? You know their father?
It's just an expression. Like their father's the establishment, and they're rebelling against it. But as you know, their parents are divorced. I'm sure that takes a toll. Anyway, I've got to be getting back to the counter, but tell you what, from now on, I can be your eyes and ears in this place. And if I hear anything suspicious, I'll give you a shout. How does that sound?
That's very kind of you, son. But are you sure I can't entice you to answer a few more questions now before I go?
Oh, wish I could, Detective Scoop. We've got a fresh pepperoni pie coming out of the oven in a couple minutes, so I've got to look alive. This really has been a dream come true, though, and I hope I'll get to talk to you again real soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitt. It's always a pleasure to connect with a fan. A fan who might someday become a protege.
Wow. Another riveting interview from the incomparable Detective Scoop, even if it didn't provide much information. Again.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Amanda.
Amanda,
your mic is...
You've forgotten to activate your vocal cords.
Oh my god, I had such a boomer moment just now. Anyway, I was just asking you, Bethany, why are you so pressed, B? Scoop picked up some fire info. Mitt did his mission in Trenton. I've lived in Philly for all of 2 years. I've been out of college, and I've never met anyone who's lived in Trenton. It's like so ratchet. Like, what did he even do with himself while he was there?
Well, you can ask him all about that next time you go there to pick up lunch for the team. But in the meantime, I didn't hear any fire info that had anything to do with Big Arza's disappearance. Did you?
Well, we know that the manager of the pizza place knows the owner of the pizza place, so, like...
Ah, yes.
Right?
Our deep investigation has indeed informed us that a business owner communicates with one of their employees.
Okay, throw shade all you want, B. I think there's something there. Something very sus is going on with Tony's, and this town is too small to have two completely unrelated mysteries. I'm gonna help Scoop de Loop look into it.
Excellent point, Amanda. Perhaps there are threads here to pull after all. Tune in next time to hear what Amanda and Detective Scoop are able to uncover. And thanks for listening to American Fork.
Fork! 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 Fork!
Great episode again. You guys are rocking at this show.
This one
I
was so
love
funny.
this script.
Funny stuff.
This one in particular is maybe in my top 3. Yeah, I really
pretty
like
good.
this one.
Pretty
Um,
good.
Some gems.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So any insight into how this one came about today?
Well, gosh, this is a hard one to talk about because
I would.
It's hard.
I mean, it's.
it's no. I think first of all, I think everyone is frozen right now.
Oh no.
No.
No. Okay, then it's
No.
just me.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so.
We can
Okay.
still
You're
hear
not
you,
frozen
though.
to us.
I'm
Yeah.
like a little
Yeah.
laggy. but-
Speak as if you are not frozen.
We seem to be having a bit
Okay.
of a ghost in the system tonight, but we can totally hear you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm also just thinking slowly, so that's probably part of it too. In any event, it's a tough one to talk about without giving anything away for next week. But again, without giving too much away, this is kind of a turning point in American Fork. So writing up to that.
Time to actually I'm very impressed with how much comedy you've gotten out of nothing happening whatsoever.
Yeah.
Literally nothing has happened.
So
Thanks. That's a great compliment.
yeah. So you know who we haven't heard enough from is Ian. I
That's
think
very true.
because he kind of comes in and he's like, yeah, Emily, you're right. But
Yeah.
You know
what?
Fair
He's
enough.
Hang on,
probably
hang on.
muted.
I wish that was what life was actually like. That I think that
Let's
something
I know,
was
right?
like,
It's-
yeah.
prove it.
I'm like 0 or 100.
I want to hear some sass from Ian. Tell us, give us
There's a
the
little house of frass there.
So with this episode, I mean, it was ironic. I thought I'm glad it's in your top 3 because we kind of went into this one being like, all right, we know where this is going, so we know we have to heat it up a little bit, but we also aren't close enough to do much. So it was like, all right, well, let's just have an episode again. Doesn't do much, but where's some of the funny elements that can keep it moving, can be fun to write, and we decided on especially the whole Mitt and Scoop dialogue. Which and then we kind of threw around the idea of Mitt being a fan of his, which was well, this would be small town hero shit is always really funny because it's
yeah.
just anything that's reverential with low stakes is pretty good. And then the episode just kind of went from there. And next time should be fun. You'll hear again from some characters you haven't in a while. And then we said it's going to start to heat up a little bit. We're starting to the last 4 episodes, which should yeah, at some point shit has to happen. So
Right.
yeah, it'll, we'll get there.
Well,
so yeah.
One thing I'm really looking forward to is seeing now everybody who watches this show. If you didn't know, Ahmed actually goes and divides the videos up by segment. So if you have not caught all the episodes of American Fork, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can find the playlist that has just the American Fork stuff, and you can catch up that way. So you don't have to. I mean, these are long episodes, right? It's a stream. It's meant to be for people to hang out for a while and move on and kind of, do whatever they want to do at the same time while they're watching, and not really. I don't know if anyone binges these big episodes, but if you want to binge something, you can find the little segments.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
February in a
probably-
pandemic, like
Yeah.
What else are you
Right.
Yeah.
So, eventually,
premium
right?
content.
I mean, like, eventually, we're gonna have the full 12 episodes, and I don't know what we're gonna do with it after
We're
that.
going to Netflix.
We're going to Netflix.
doing?
They'll buy anything, right? Okay.
We'll put it on
Netflix,
Quibi.
greenlit.
Yeah.
Oh, Quibi's gone.
We're going to
That's
resurrect
over.
Quibi with it.
Can we have a moment of
Right, coming
silence for
exclusively
Quibi?
to Quibi
Yes,
and CISO.
pour one out.
Can we have a 1 to
So-
3 minute silence for Quibi, please?
I don't even know what that is. This is going over my head. What's
Exactly.
Quibi? I'm thinking
probably
of
for the
QuickBooks
best.
Online.
Quibi is like the poop entertainment, it was like a failed thing. It was
Very short
all the content
form.
was like 1 to 5 minutes,
Really?
And they had a bunch of big names and stuff on it, but like it just sounded
where
like a
their
terrible
mar-
idea
their
the whole
budget went.
time.
Hmm.
It's always kind of like the punchline of a joke. No offense if any Quibi reps are watching this. I mean, still
Yeah.
please hire me, like whatever.
It's called Quabby.
Right. So Ian, what are you up to lately? As a comedian, what is the COVID world like? For
The
a comedian?
COVID world, I mean, yeah, not much. Occasional Zoom shows between periods of time where I forget that Zoom shows are terrible.
Where are you
That's
based?
Usually how it goes. Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Are
Are you okay? Is
so,
everything
but-
okay there?
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah. I
question.
mean, yeah. It's. I mean, we're just everything's like shut down. It's not good right now, but we're fine. It's besides that, like things are fairly shut down still. I mean, it's not like clubs occasionally open, but besides that, nothing's really popping off or anything. So hopefully this summer, cross our fingers, things will get going again. But until then, just having fun otherwise, having fun writing this, and
Well,
keeping busy.
thank you, and thank you, Emily, for you guys getting together, teaming up on this awesome show. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I guess we're just gonna kick them right off.
I was gonna say he could have like plugged his comedy or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
So
he might
have
bring
been
him
about
back.
to.
Yeah, bring him back. Plug your comedy. Plug your
Oh,
comedy.
he's leaving.
No, he's leaving.
Bring back his empty.
Oh no.
So Ian,
I do-
you
I
can't
do
even
want to point
hear
out there.
us.
All right, go ahead
There
and
were-
switch it off before it gets
Empty
naked.
chairs and empty tables. Now
I'm pretty sure he has a
Ian.
YouTube channel under his name, so
Really?
try look that up and see some of his skits.
Emily, if you are still in the green room, could you please find that and comment?
We can
Or-
share it.
We brought
I'm
him
pretty sure
back.
IO is dead,
but
so it's probably
now
like
he's
seconds later or
gone.
something.
Hey, now he's looking at us like, dude, what was he talking to? Now we're like teasing him in and out. Just the tip. Okay.
We rehearse.